what I'm doing then.
That's what you're doing. Yeah, no, like, dude, it's funny you walk in here talking about Baldur's Gate when me and Walsh have been talking about Baldur's Gate the entire time we were waiting for you.
That's why I brought up Baldur's Gate, because I didn't have my headphones on. They were off to the side, but I could still hear you boys talking, and I was hearing I didn't hear every word, but I heard like Karlak and like chopping a head off or something like that.
Yeah, there's key things that you picked up there. There's things that are specific to Baldur's Gate that, dude, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like us playing together, but it just reignited like me jumping back into it. Like I was getting close to that like Act 3 burnout that people talk about.
Oh man, I totally hit it. I've got myself trying to get back into the last fucking slog of it.
Yeah.
I can kind of relate, but in a different way. I did not save going for like an hour, right? Like I was like, oh crap, I forgot to at the blighted town. I forgot to go down the well, so I went back and did that real quick, and then I immediately went back to the Shadowlands and a cutscene. I'm trying not to give away spoilers in case we're recording, because I'm assuming we're recording, right?
I mean, that's a good assumption to make at any
It's
time.
always a good assumption.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give away any spoilers or anything, especially because our series is not this far.
No.
But I go in not expecting this. I should have, because I'm, a smart person would expect a major cutscene type situation to happen going into this new area, right? Did not save. Did something dumb. Made a mistake. Accidentally clicked an ally when I meant to click an enemy.
Done that.
Oh, yep.
And kind of led to a situation happening that I didn't want to happen. So I had to restart, and I went to go look at what saves I had. I wasn't intentionally going to load a save right away. I just wanted to see what saves I had.
Mm-hmm.
My dumbass double-clicked a save, and I went back an hour and a half.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
All of it again, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a break.
Dude, I have been in that exact same position before, where I have gone too long without making a save, and then I make a colossal mistake.
Yep.
And I'm just like, okay, that's it. That's it for today. I'm done.
Can't play this anymore.
Yeah, it hurts.
And you're just going to inevitably just skip all the dialogue and make the same choices that you made already.
Yeah.
Or try to, because you can't always, but try to, because sometimes it's all dependent on rolls. But, like,
I mean, okay, so I'm trying to think of a way to speak about this without giving any spoilers. Because I did do a save specifically because I was going to play it, just very close to how my character would play it. I am trying to play the game as close to how I feel my Paladin Oath of Vengeance would act. Mm-hmm. So,
yep.
Derek, you're familiar with the Emperor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the first real encounter that you have with him, I was like, no, I'm not going to play this like I trust you at all. We're fighting. And flat out, I killed him and everything else that was in the area where you first have that real encounter with him. Yeah, straight up game over. the game ends.
That had to be a game over.
Yeah, it was a straight up game over. Yeah, the game did not like that.
But that's kind of how the Paladin would be, especially an Oath of Vengeance Paladin. At least in my mind.
Yeah, in my mind, dude, no, Paladin would straight up be like, "Oh no, you're obviously evil. You're an illithid. You're gonna die."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Paladins, no evil things should live. You're definitely gonna kill them, even if your party's like, "Hey, we made a deal with this one." It's like, okay, that's fine. I'm coming back in a year and killing all of them.
Not breaking my oath. Thank you.
Hope no one in my party ever sees this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. Current highlight is finally getting to actually outside of Baldur's Gate and seeing other Dragonborn that because I'm playing as a Dragonborn Paladin. And they're just like, hey, scale friend. I'm like, oh, sweet. People who recognize me for being a dragonborn instead of completely ignoring it.
People who know me.
Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah, I'm playing a Sorlock right now in my single player playthrough. Not a hex blade though.
Okay.
I'm more of like a cheese grater type. So it's just so I can right now with my level I can shoot 2 blasts of Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch
But then I can
Blast.
also quicken it to do 2 more real quick. And
I was playing last night, and there is a very specific item that you would love for that Warlock build. I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm just going to say it's not until you get to the lower city. It's on...
Gloves?
Yeah, there is a set of gloves that allow you to double your cantrips.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm set up right now where it's just ping, 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 and I'm just throwing shit out, man. I'm using hold person a lot and ensnare. Ensnare, really good. Really good. Not as good as hold person, but really good.
I like ensnare because you can theoretically capture multiple enemies.
Yes. It's an area control instead of a single target.
I've just been demolishing bosses. Just demolishing them.
Yeah, you know what else demolishes them? Fucking level 3 blinding smite followed up with a critical with another level 3 smite.
Yeah.
Did you make Gale a divination wizard?
No, he's evocation because I wanted to burn everything.
Every once in a while he gets that 20 and it's like, ooh, auto crit whenever I want.
No,
I'm not using Gale.
You're not using Gale? Really?
No. I'm using Shart.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. She does suck less once you realize, oh, I shouldn't use the dexterity-based saving throws on these enemies that currently have high dexterity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Always respec her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, still go cleric, but respec her to make her a better cleric, and then, you know, cleric it up. Clerics are way too powerful.
Oh,
yeah.
So good. Like, for her, I'm just going straight cleric with her. I don't think I'm going to multi-class at all. But, like, with Asterion, for me, he's a thief, rogue, and a... He hasn't... No, I did. No. He is a ranger. But
really?
He's the... Yes, yeah. I decided to go with the Beastmaster because I wanted more bodies. So
okay.
He's got a bear friend.
You wanted more bodies, you should have gone Druid. I was telling Alex, I roll an army.
Oh yeah, you can, yeah. And I've seen some of those builds with Druid. Like Druid can be super OP, even like early game obviously with Wild Shape, but like
I mean,
was it called the Woodland Friends spell or whatever it is?
You get the wood lady and she summons a buddy, and then you summon a couple little ice buddies, and then you summon a big old fucking elemental, and then you turn into a big old fucking elemental, and it's like, wait a minute, it was one guy 10 seconds ago.
I mean, if you really are more morally pliable, you could always go the necromancer route.
Then you gotta find bodies and carry them with you. It's a pain in the ass.
Oh, where did you guys go?
Where did you go?
Alex went bye-bye.
I'm still here. I don't.
But we're still here.
There he is.
Now you're here.
Yeah. That's a Walsh. That's a Walsh.
Yeah, I'm
Show a Walsh. There's a guest. Hi. There's a Derek.
Hi.
No, I don't want Derek capture. I want Derek cam. There we go. Okay. You guys just went poof, gone.
You don't want to capture me?
No, I've got a separate thing to capture your actual screen when we need it.
Oh, I thought you meant like Pokemon style. Like, wait.
Oh, no, dude. I don't have enough badges. Derek, I don't have enough badges to train you.
Like, what the fuck? Am I like a Metapod or something? Like,
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That wasn't a no.
Derek, if you knew anything besides Harden, maybe. Ayo.
Real good at that. But today's my birthday.
Yeah.
And not as good at that as I used to be.
As you used to be. I mean, there was a period of time that we were all much better at that.
Yeah, like you know how you run low on AP after a while.
Yeah, PP.
Or PP. Thank you. Yeah, well, let me tell you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm like at like 4 or 5 out of 15 left.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
And the scale goes to 15. What is this, the pH system?
It's how many points you had to spend to do the thing. Some of them had as low as like 5 or 2 or 1.
No.
Always buy in bulk.
Didn't like Flame Wheel or something like that have like 7?
I don't know. There was some random ones. There's 5 billion fucking Pokemon now. I can't keep track anymore. I'm too old for that shit.
I'm talking OG 150.
Dude, No, it's been overwritten. There's been so many other Pokemon things that like I can't remember any of it anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. There's like 1 million of them now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also good though, because if they're trying to go after real life, there's so many different species.
Dude, okay, so something that's always bothered me, because like the cartoon is canon to the Pokemon world, right?
I assume so, yeah.
Right, I would assume so as well. They have regular non-Pokemon animals in the cartoon.
That's true.
So,
like birds and shit. There's like actually some like normal birds, not Pokemon birds. That's right.
Yeah, and like
they're
fish.
just mutations of the pigeon one.
Yeah. So like, is there like what makes something a Pokemon and not a regular animal? Is it just like them saying their own name?
And if all real animals are in existence, how are any of them surviving against alligators and crocodiles?
Yeah.
I don't care if you can zap like an electric eel. These fuckers are apex predators.
Or hippo. Like hippos, they're not like necessarily omnivores. They kill you because they hate you.
Yeah, they're up there with orcas taking down super yachts because they're just full of rage.
That's also justice. So.
Dude.
That's justice.
Yeah. Orcas are anti-capitalist.
They are. They probably were like swimming around the giant trash island one day and read some literature about eating the rich, and they took that shit seriously.
Yeah, they said fuck Jeff Bezos.
As you do.
Yeah.
As you do.
As everyone should. Dude is rich enough to be like legit Iron Man or Batman, and instead he decides that he's gonna go to space and create almost war crime atrocities to his employees.
He's already doing war crime atrocities to his employees. So it's only gonna get worse. Wasn't he still in power when we all found out that they were trying to force people to piss in bottles while working on the line?
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah. Like literal war crimes.
He's straight up like Lex Luthor. That's who he is.
He went the villain route.
Yeah.
So did Musk.
I mean, the difference is Musk doesn't have a video streaming platform where one of the most popular shows is if Superman was a supervillain.
True. Which would be, let's be real, would likely be the real case scenario if that was reality. Superman would be the bad guy. Like, we would not have like a super chill Superman. There's just no way.
I mean, that's what makes Superman like Superman, though, is his ability to be endlessly optimistic and a beacon of hope. Like, it's not the superpowers that makes him unique. It's the fact that, he is that level of Boy Scout, The
only problem is if he's going to be raised in, like, rural-ass Kansas, he's gonna be a hard ass MAGA psycho, and we're gonna get Homelander.
Yep. That was kind of what I was thinking too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but you forget one of the key aspects of Superman's superpowers is super intelligence.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey, wait a minute. This is all horseshit.
But super intelligence could come with the idea that he's like, I'll play the system. I'll make me lots of money.
That's true. But what would he need money for? He's Superman. I mean, he made the Fortress of Solitude by himself.
And now he can contract that out to day laborers.
Yeah. Instead of doing something himself that would take him a fraction of the time, he's going to hire like a couple thousand day laborers to spend 12 years on it.
Yep. And then never pay them. Never pay them.
Well, he won't. They'll die during the process, like when they used to dig the mines and tunnels back in the day.
The survivors will try and sue, but they can't because, he's got all the money in the world. So he's like, no, I'll just force this litigation to take forever. You won't have enough money to continue.
What am I saying? Back in the day, like 4 years ago, how many people died building that Olympic stadium for the previous Olympics? I don't know what the fuck. It wasn't that long ago.
The Chinese one?
Yeah.
The one in China?
Yeah. God. That's another thing that's coming up. God, Olympics.
There's a lot of deaths linked to that, like even during the thing happening, and a lot of essays and grapings and such. So,
yep. I mean, shady dark money leads to pretty awful things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like fake concrete.
Yeah, that's a thing. I remember there was some anarchist literature I was reading a while back, and one of the things that they suggested to deal with gentrification was to sabotage concrete at new construction by essentially making it dissolve in water when it rains.
That would be fun. Throw in like a high amount of talc or something like that, more than the normal amount.
Real simple stuff that you can do to lower the property value in your area and prevent millionaires from taking over your neighborhood.
Well. Not going to sit here and say do any of that.
No, I'm not
saying that's a fun thing that would probably be to read, though.
Yeah, that's I'm not suggesting people do that, by all means. I'm not suggesting that you should do, graffiti outside your local Starbucks to, lower the property values. I'm not suggesting that you should, have a firearm and, set it off like maybe once a month in your backyard to keep people from moving in. But, that's something that you could do.
It's something you could do. Theoretically.
A lot of things you can do. But should you?
Yeah.
I'm not answering those questions.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's like the more and more things that are happening right now keep happening, the more and more anarchy just seems inevitable.
Yeah. I mean,
anarchy is there's stupid people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there'll always be stupid people.
You can't do nothing about the stupid people.
Let's be real. Like, my character in our Baldur's Gate playthrough has 8 intelligence.
Yeah. Seems about average.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna accidentally break a wall or two or set a hut on fire. It's just gonna happen. He's an idiot.
Yeah, and he doesn't mean to do it. It just happened.
It just happened.
He might.
Since when did inflammable mean flammable?
He might accidentally launch a deep gnome off of a windmill.
Yeah.
No, we saved him. But Derek would have accidentally launched him.
Yeah.
I would have, an accident. I would have hit the wrong lever.
There are worse things you could do, okay?
There's always worse things you could do.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Like reject the owlbear.
No, you do not reject that owlbear. That
exactly.
owlbear is necessary to the rest of the game.
Oh my god. I healed his little paw, and I was like, oh my god, just stay with me.
He needs to.
So good.
But we should probably talk some wrestling.
I mean, probably. It's kind of what we do a little bit here.
A little bit here and there.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, kinda. Yeah, there is a couple of big things that happened this week. First off, we gotta give a shout out to someone I believe in. Derek, do you believe? Walsh, do you believe in Joe Hendry?
I do believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah, dude showed up at
Is
NXT.
he related to me?
Uh-huh.
Yes. What was expected, people have been asking for it, and goddamn if they didn't work it into the current ongoing TNA storyline with him and Frankie Kazarian. Shout out to Joe Hendry, and once again, making moves on social media.
Yeah. I was surprised to see him. I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they utilized him more.
Yeah. I think that just was like a tease, hopefully, of some future like TNA workarounds and collaborations with WWE. Honestly, it was like a cameo. It was like a little taste. Like, here you go. Here's a little bit of Joe Hendry for you.
Yeah, like my one worry about it, though, my one reservation that I have about this is what WWE did with WCW roster and ECW roster and made them not look as good as the roster that was already there. I worry about that to some degree because, I mean, obviously you don't want them to overshadow your talent. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But I fear that this could be a one-sided kind of situation where WWE will make out more so than TNA.
I mean, that's entirely, extraordinarily likely. Now, there's an important factor with the WCW and ECW handling of things that you need to take into account, though. That happened after they were purchased by Vince. Yeah. And Vince was a vindictive, petty little shit who wanted to hammer home. I mean, is, but he's not involved right now. Hopefully, ever again.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. And he really wanted to hammer home that, WWE had won at that period of time.
I know. Yeah. But because of that, I have that fear.
Yeah. As it seems right now, this seems to be a lot more of a reciprocal nature between WWE and TNA. There's, talent moving back and forth a little bit here and there. They're not going crazy with like an invasion angle, which
I think is smart though.
Yeah. Which I think is all the better. Like, I think they need to just, do this like how they've been doing it. Just piecemeal here and there. Not try and make it like a regular occurrence. Make it more unpredictable. Mm-hmm. And just, really like have some fun with it.
Might as well.
Yeah. Like, you don't need to, put over everybody who comes from TNA, but you got to make them look strong.
Yeah. And that's why I have some reservations. It's just because I worry that might not happen. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it won't though, because this is a new WWE in many ways.
Yeah.
So I'm still hopeful, but just trying to stay a little bit grounded about it.
Yeah. Speaking of being grounded about it, it's kind of how I hope they handled the Wyatt Sicks. They've got the potential to go overboard with kind of like supernatural bullshit, and I kind of want them to just be like, no, they're just spooky motherfuckers,
Yeah.
Like the way that they ended Raw was a good way of like incorporating that. There wasn't any like teleportation, there wasn't any magic. There was just a group of psychos.
Yes, and I think it was honestly done right. I was really, really, really happy to see them come out. I think this is something that needs to happen. But again, this is one of those. I think we brought it up a few weeks back when it was still just like all the QR codes and everything. Overplaying their hand on this. That was one of those things we had been bringing up back then when we were still debating on whether or not this is what it was all about. I'm happy to see that they're not doing that. This seems to be a very solid approach.
Yeah. The main test is still ahead, and that's how it translates to like in the ring performances. But everything else, everything else, I think they fucking nailed. Like the presentation, the look, the theming, it all looks fantastic. And really, it's a wonderful tribute to Bray.
Which I agree completely. It's awesome. This has needed to happen for a bit, and I'm glad that they've held off and took their time with this to set it up.
Not only did they take their time to set it up, but they gave it time to kind of like breathe on its own. It wasn't overshadowed by any other like story beats on Raw. Like they went out with that being like the top story of the show, even though Seth came back first thing on the show.
Yeah, I like this focus on storylines that aren't always related to a belt.
Yeah.
Or related to previous belt holders in main regards, like with Seth. Which I was happy, seeing Seth, but like let's focus on some other storylines and put these guys at the forefront a bit. The belt will always be there. Yeah,
no, the belt's there. I'm not sure what direction they're gonna go with, Damian Priest or Cody past SummerSlam, let's say. But I feel like there's enough happening throughout the show, not revolving around the main title picture, that you can survive without having those two. Or, Liv's got her own thing going on that's not related to her title. That's, fun and interesting. And there's not really anything too crazy around the belt except for maybe like Drew McIntyre going on right now. But he's got his own thing going on with Punk. And we got to talk about just how wonderful that was. Oh my God. There's so many different things that were wrapped up in that. We've got Bloodline, we've got Paul Heyman, we got CM Punk, we've got Drew, all of it happening just on different levels throughout that show.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Walsh, did you catch any of that?
Tim was actually telling me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely insane.
It sounds silly.
Honestly, the way they're handling this Punk Drew storyline, I think it's going to make it... I honestly, I do believe Drew is going to end up with a belt. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is building up to where he is going to prove himself to have a belt. He's going to overcome CM Punk in this feud eventually. And because I think Punk honestly is in these type of games right now to help put people over, and Drew's the type of guy that deserves to be put over more.
Drew, he's earned his stripes, At this point in time, he can kind of like work any way he wants, and I think the people are here for it, whether he's like the vindictive heel who's going about things the wrong way, but is in the right, I think that works for him. If he wanted to turn face and, start chasing like a heel champion, I think that would work as well. The thing that I find the most interesting is just that, was this put together to buy Punk more time on the shelf? Or was this like kind of a swerve to keep us guessing for the next time Punk is going to fuck over Drew? Like, he surprised everyone at Clash at the Castle to fuck him over. Does that mean okay, now they're trying to make people forget that Punk is involved for Drew to go do something else and Punk to show back up and fuck him over again? Is that what they're playing here?
That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. Seriously. Knowing how Punk is and how petty he is, that would make sense to do that play.
Yeah.
Personally.
I'm petty as a person, not as a character, because he's a petty fucking son of a bitch. He's so goddamn petty. Also, I want to give a shout out real quick to Paul Heyman being one of the best elements of WWE right now, and just the way he did that line read of "Take me with you." It broke my heart. It really did.
Him standing there and them two hugging him and Punk was just great. It just brought it back.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and I'm not gonna lie, man. The way Punk handled the Bloodline, that's classic. That's classic CM Punk.
Yeah.
That's how you handle a team roster when you're a solo kind of guy.
Yeah, especially with a Bloodline that now has another member on there. Jacob Fatu finally makes his on-screen appearance. Reportedly, we talked about this before, but it's because they were afraid he was going to be overshadowing Solo, and they wanted to give Solo some time to kind of build up his aura, and we'll see. I mean, they still got some time to make it so, Solo doesn't look like a punk ass, but whatever.
Fatu looked really fucking good, man.
He does. He is one of those guys that you could legitimately say is a generational talent. Like, he's got everything you need to be a goddamn star on another level.
He can fucking fly.
Yeah.
And who better than Cody to help put him over, though? Seriously. Because, Cody's going to take the bump. And if it's going to be crazy and crazy, Cody's going to be on board. His old AEW days with the table on fire. I think that might have been his actual idea to begin with, but I
guarantee it, dude. Come on, Cody is a carny son of a bitch. His father was Dusty Rhodes, one of the biggest carny sons of bitches to ever work the territories and TV.
Yeah,
I mean, the Dusty finish is named after his father, and that's one of the most carny things you could do.
That's true. You are right. You are right. But I just feel like he's the type of champ where it's okay to see him lose in these type of ways, where it doesn't take away from how strong he is as a champion.
Yeah, Cody isn't the Roman Reigns Superman that needs to win regardless of however many convoluted little tricks you need to do to make it look like he didn't lose in a clean way. Cody, you could buy getting beaten and still want to cheer him, Okay, there we go. Derek, give me a test. Oh. Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Hey.
Okay, I hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if that was me or not. I didn't click nothing.
Everything went all robotic.
Yeah. I just lost you entirely and then it came back. But that's
so
clean slate right there.
But yeah, I love Fatu's entrance now that we're back.
Yeah.
I believe having Cody be the one to help sell him was perfect.
Yeah.
And I agree with yes, we've been talking about Solo being put over a little more. That's why they held off. If they wanted to put Solo over more, they might have wanted to hold off a little bit longer, because he immediately overshadowed Solo. Immediately.
Yeah, I mean, each member of the Bloodline that they have brought in since Roman's loss has reinforced that, Solo went from being the enforcer to being the weakest member of the Bloodline real fucking quick.
Real fast.
Now that I'm saying it out loud, I think that might actually be on purpose. I think the story going forward might be that Solo loses control of the Bloodline in time for Roman to come back and be, what have you done to my power, my, empire? Oh. What have you done? You have destroyed everything that I left you in charge of.
That's actually, yeah. It'd be a great play. I love Solo. I think his gimmick is overall pretty good. I think they don't give him enough time to really show how much of an enforcer he was, because the dude got his ass beat a lot.
He did.
Just a lot.
He lost a lot. He was there to take pinfalls for a long time, so Roman could still be, champion and look strong.
Yeah, what was it, like 98 losses in 1 year or something like that? It was some crazy-ass number.
I didn't count. I only counted the wins, which was like 2.
Yeah, which was like 2. And that was, even then, it was like, wow, 2? Like,
yeah, but one of those was over
10?
John Cena. Come on.
Yeah, but that was like a house show, wasn't it?
No, that was I think Cena's like last televised match, maybe, before he's took a break.
So, okay, to help put Solo over. Okay.
Yeah.
They did not capitalize on that.
No, they did not.
But I think that would be the play, though. Have him continue to look weak, and maybe after the splinter is when he starts to look actually strong.
Mm-hmm.
In like a redemption arc.
Yeah, like have him go away for a little bit, and then, oh, surprise, there's someone that comes out from the crowd wearing a hoodie that we know is Solo, and they're going to drag out the reveal to be like, oh, it's Solo. What a shock.
Have him, like, go off and do, like, airsoft for, like, a year and learn to work in, like, a team.
What?
So, like, when he comes back, he can actually delegate to team members.
Maybe.
And then, like, they do this,
lone
like...
wolf in airsoft.
Yeah.
Well, no. Then have him do this, like, crazy, like, over-the-top, like, cinematic of him and this, like, child team. And them going through, and he still loses. He still gets shot. Like, he's the first one through the door. Gets shot immediately. The kids go in and win. But it shows that he's the leader. He's always willing to go through the door first. But he always gets shot first, too.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So he's sacrificing himself in airsoft, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be too niche, Derek. That might be too niche.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta think outside the box.
You do. You do gotta think outside the box. I would suggest
he
maybe
uses a kid as a shield.
Yeah. I would have suggested like maybe a team sport, like, a football or a basketball or a baseball team, maybe.
No.
Nope. Airsoft.
Nope. Airsoft or bust.
Airsoft or bust.
What you do is you grab one of the kids, use him as a human shield, and then you grab the next kid and put a grenade on him and throw the kid at the other team.
How old are these children that you are talking about sacrificing, Derek?
6 months.
I was gonna say like maybe like 2 to 6 years.
So still toddlers. Range. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but they can run. Toddlers can move quick, man. And they're still like pliable enough to where like if they end up like, hitting something, they'll bounce back.
Yeah, no, they're built for that.
They're built for that.
Oh man.
Oh. Don't actually do that, anybody. I don't actually endorse that.
Yeah,
I
please.
just need to make that clear.
Yeah. This is not financial advice. That's what we gotta do. We gotta remember that.
Not only that, it's my birthday, so at the end of the day, it's their fault because they decided to yes and me with this. So
yeah, I mean,
I was just asking questions.
No, yeah, sure.
You're just Glenn Becking it over there. Yeah, I know.
Was that pre-goatee or post-goatee?
Post-goatee, absolutely post-goatee.
Okay.
That's when he was as most evil.
Yeah.
Oh. So, speaking of evil, something I was not anticipating. Apparently, Shane McMahon has made attempts to reach out to AEW about joining the company. This is all like rumor, speculation, people talking behind the scenes. This is like pure dirt sheet bullshit. Tony Khan has already responded saying like, I have never talked to Shane McMahon at all on any level. But Shane is like, yeah, no, maybe I'll make another run at it. Maybe I'll blow another quad.
But didn't he end Tony end his quote with saying like, wouldn't that be great or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It was like a joking, like super sarcastic. I don't see this happening.
Yeah, no, like I think like Tony is a old school form troll. So much so that I think for Collision on Saturday, he promoted it by posting a family photo with him and his dad and the rest of his family. Yeah. I mean, just like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing there.
He has steeped himself in carny bullshit and has accepted it for all it is.
He has. And, okay, so there's some, this is probably like the top story of like the past week, was the carny bullshit is happening on like a very peculiar level. Reportedly, the next day, like Fast Nationals for ratings that we are seeing for, you know, AEW shows the past, like, you know, however many months or years it's been going on. So Fast Nationals are a thing that happened with the Nielsen ratings. They are like the first available like data for TV ratings off Nielsen boxes, right? They're notoriously unreliable because they don't have a lot of the different like factors and variables already worked in. It's just raw. Maybe these are some, like, this is the just random data almost.
Pre-sifted basically. And being incredibly unreliable, they're also not easy to get. These are available at a premium, and like only, you know, so many people are going to pay the premium to have access to these. So all of the numbers that we've been seeing for AEW when it comes to the Fast Nationals have apparently been coming from WWE, who have been sifting it to all the different like writers and people who report on wrestling quietly and behind the scenes. Okay.
Yeah. So that,
they do still see them as a rival.
They do, but here's where things get an even bigger wrinkle. The official numbers for the most recent episode of Dynamite are the worst ever, and apparently they're 100% legit. They did 502,000 with only a 0.16 in the demo. That's like the lowest they've ever been on any show ever, especially considering like we're talking about something that aired not during normal times when their ratings would be considered lower for, you know, a reasonable amount of time. Like the NBA finals weren't on, the WNBA didn't have a show, there's no football, there's no major events. Like the only other like major media event that I saw that was during this show was it was Juneteenth, so there was, you know, Kendrick's show, Ken and Friends, the pop out, which, I mean, that was a huge deal. It was put out for free on, was it Prime Video and YouTube?
Yep.
And I know there was a ton of people watching that, but not that many people I don't think the crossover of like, you know, Kendrick fans who are streaming that are that many people who are, you know, watching wrestling on a Nielsen box.
Well, I mean, this beef has kind of hit different levels that we wouldn't really expect.
It may have, but there was like 176,000 people streaming that, Derek. Like,
well, what I mean to say is
they all can't be wrestling fans, is what I'm saying.
Oh no, I agree with that. What I was about to say was there's got to be a small segment of these numbers that, yes, likely did watch the show for Kendrick, but it can't be all of them.
Yeah,
I would probably put that easily under 50%.
Yeah, I that's very
maybe
safe.
As low as 20, maybe as low as 20%.
Yeah, I would say that's very safe. That like maybe 20% of the people watching that maybe would have been watching like Dynamite instead. I mean, that's a pretty big maybe.
That's still a huge number.
It's still a huge number, but that still doesn't make up the, you know, incredible deficit that we're talking about here. I'm trying to find the quote from Warner Brothers on exactly like how they reacted to Dynamite's numbers, but they apparently were not that upset about it. I don't know if that's just, you know, them playing politics and trying to be like, yeah, like we're okay with it, like whatever. but it's still like that's like, they were at like almost 1 million last year on average. Now,
I mean, maybe more people are celebrating Juneteenth. Like, a lot of white people got to have it off, so.
Now, the thing is, we are still talking about the archaic Nielsen ratings. Now,
yes.
For people that don't know, the Nielsen ratings are only counted off of people with Nielsen boxes attached to their cable TVs. It doesn't include people that are streaming it, people who are watching on the apps, people who watch it the next day on like DVR or off of like one of the other streaming apps like a Hulu, for instance. It doesn't include people on, was it Triller? It doesn't include any of the international numbers either.
Well, here's an argument then. AEW, while yes, using a lot of like older talent and such, and like a mix of old and fresh talent, I believe has a much younger audience than WWE, because WWE has a lot of the like old guard still watching.
Yeah.
So I would expect to see the numbers be skewed differently for AEW to some degree towards streaming services more, or like YouTube or what have you, more so than WWE.
Yeah.
So I would expect to see WWE's numbers be high on an old school cable box.
Well, that's the thing. WWE is one of the most popular social media like accounts across multiple platforms. They are insanely popular on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
They pull in, major numbers, not just there, but like their TikTok is, surprisingly well stocked. They've got they do, they are trending on Twitter every time that they're having a show. I don't know how great they are in Instagram, but they do pretty decent on Instagram too.
Well, I don't mean to imply that AEW is better at it. All I mean to imply is like the audience for AEW is more likely, in my opinion, to see them skew harder towards like Instagram and streaming services and the like, whereas WWE has a wider net audience, so you're going to still see high numbers on these old cable boxes.
Yeah. I was just trying to make
many different
the suggestion that the general audience itself for wrestling is on more of those platforms than watching it on, cable.
Yeah, I just mean that between the two, WWE, I would expect to have the better numbers, old school cable box wise.
Yeah.
Just off the bat.
So I found the quote from somebody from Warner Brothers, who apparently they cited, the Juneteenth holiday, middle of the week, a huge number of people actually, it's a federal holiday, so they have the day off. They cited also the Olympic trials, college baseball's World Series airing in primetime slots, which I didn't even know those were happening. And another thing was their lead-in was actually instead of the usual Big Bang Theory, which surprisingly does like 250,000 people in its final quarter hour. They had Black Panther leading into Dynamite, which only had 85,000 people watching.
I mean, they're only playing Black Panther because it's Juneteenth, and that feels really stupid.
It feels performative, especially when
oh my god.
Especially when Black Panther's available on Disney Plus without commercials, sure.
Yeah. Oh my god, that reeks of performance right there.
I mean,
that might be a big reason why too.
It could be, but at the same time, like, they could have done something worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Yes. Guaranteed. They could have played like. Well, there's a lot.
There's a lot. There is a lot.
It's just weird to me. You might as well have just still played Big Bang Theory, or just found like a different show to play at that time.
Yeah, they could have. It just goes to show that, like, when it comes to like cable TV audiences, they really just do prefer predictability when it comes to their television. Like, that's something that you see a lot with streaming services, particularly now that people have access to entire libraries. Like, most people don't go actively searching out for new things. They want their comfort shows. So that's why, syndication became a thing to begin with. People wanted to watch, something that they've already seen. It's shown to be, very popular people with high anxiety is things that they are familiar with, that there's lower stakes because they already know how it ends, is more comforting than something that's new and exciting, which is why, you get so many repeats, why you have so many people that just watch the same shows over and over again, is because they just want that comfort.
Yeah, when I'm cooking, I don't put on something I haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. It's always something I can just listen to.
Yeah.
And know what's happening, and I can still keep up. I mainly do that when I'm cooking, though. Mm-hmm. I don't really do that at any other time. But I can relate, though, with that, because there's a comfort there of not having to look at the screen to get the information and know what's happening. So,
I mean, that's just one of those things that, seems not like 100% universal, but it's just one of those things that people connect with, from the beginning. Yeah. Now, there is something else going on that I just feel like we gotta touch on, because I find it hilarious. So, Matt Hardy, he left AEW a little while ago now, and started working again for TNA. And was immediately, extraordinarily, glowing and just, praising everybody at TNA, saying how exciting it is to be here, which is perfectly normal. That's, what you do when you start a new job, is you want to give a good impression that you're happy with, where you are currently working. And then, Jeff Hardy comes along to him tag teaming with his brother in TNA again, and they're doing stuff over there. But most recently, Matt has just been shitting on AEW left and right since he has had the opportunity. I don't know why he is burning that bridge so hard right now, but it's fucking hilarious. Up until Jeff slipped up and got arrested again, AEW was prepared to give them the tag belts, and they were 2 weeks from doing that. AEW was a godsend to Matt Hardy in the beginning, and even up until that moment, he was regularly featured when he had really nothing going on.
Yeah. I'm surprised too, because I've seen some of this as well, and I mean, something must have happened backstage with management. Maybe not necessarily Tony or Matthew and Nicholas Jackson.
But that's the thing. The Bucks, they worshipped the Hardys. Mm-hmm. They were one of probably the main reasons that they were featured so heavily, particularly Matt.
But there's other people in management, though. So, I mean, it could be something on that end. I really don't know.
Yeah.
It could have been a number of wrestlers that they just did not vibe with.
It's possible. They were I haven't read anything, over the years about either one of them being particularly difficult to work with outside of Jeff's addiction issues. You don't see people trash talking either one of them on the aspect of them being difficult to work with, not trying to, put anybody else over, not being game to do things. Outside of Jeff's addiction issues and Matt being unable to move like a human being anymore, there's not a lot of issues with the Hardys as, wrestlers.
AEW would have been more than willing to give them their flowers and everything as they retire.
Mm-hmm.
The tag team champions that they should be.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, man. It's weird.
It's super weird, but also he's talking out of like both sides of his mouth right now because he's also talking like, yeah, he thinks that they should retire with one last run in WWE. Like, dude, you just started working at TNA. How are you gonna start, jockeying for position to move to the other company immediately after working there?
Just because TNA has been linking up with WWE doesn't necessarily mean your ass is gonna be on a WWE televised show anytime soon.
And let's be fair, like, it's been a long time since like the tag scene has really had a lot of love in WWE.
It's not the same thing that it used to be.
Like,
I do have to admit, for the women's tag, I feel like the amount of love it's been getting over like the past year has been great.
There's been some movement there. I'm a little salty about Jade and Bianca having as short a reign as they did. I feel like they could have really, had some legs on that. But, that's fine. Have Jade start doing some more solo stuff and, start pushing her more. Maybe have Bianca finally turn fucking heel. Like, let's see something like that.
Yeah. I would love for that. Have them, like, have the split happen.
Yeah.
And have What's-Her-Face stuck in the middle of it, not being able to decide which friend that they're going to side with.
Oh, Naomi?
Naomi, thank you.
Yeah. Either or. Like, I'm all for it.
Dude, you then like a year later after you have Jade take over the women's belt for a while and everything, then you get the band back together.
Do you get the band back together, or do you book the big money show at WrestleMania of the two of them facing off for like real for a title?
Okay, you do that first.
Then you get the
band back together.
Yeah. Blues Brother style, not Blues Brother 2000 style.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a mandatory jump scene always. 1978 a vehicle must be used. Cop car.
Yeah.
Oh man, which one would be which though?
I would. I don't know if I want to attribute it to either one of them, considering that both of the Blues Brothers have criminal records.
Okay, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Yes.
Yeah. But they were on a mission from God, so that's their excuse.
They can't find you if they think your address is Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
But you're right though. Their reign was too short.
Yeah.
Maybe that's gonna lead to a good feud though.
Hopefully, that's what I want. Like I just want them to continue like going somewhere with it. Just like a lot of the things that they've been doing lately, I just want to see them continue it. Like one thing that they're keeping up with right now is this Chad Gable like heel turn. I am surprised to find out that they like said, no, Gable is fine. He can compete after getting murdered last Monday. Like, homeboy was like, he looked like he was dead.
Yes. That was insane. I hate bullies. Oh, so good, man. So good. And then when he goes off the top rope and falls backwards, I was like, ugh. But he took that bump good though, and it looked devastating.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's just one of those guys that like, if you give him the ball, he's gonna fucking run with it like you wouldn't believe.
What I think one of the biggest things I like about this heel turn, it's not the same as what's his face's heel turn.
What, Drew?
Kurt Angle's.
Oh, Kurt Angle, yeah.
It's not the same, like because there's been a lot of comparisons, and rightly so in many ways. Kurt Angle's heel turn is, in my opinion, already not as good as Gable's. I mean, Gable sells it so much better.
Kurt's like heel turn was still like, he was still a bit of a goober, you know? He was still a bit of a goofball. Chad is like not that whatsoever. He himself put it very well when he said that he wanted to, you know, do the heel turn. Was like, look, I lost to Gunther again. There's only so many times that people are going to cheer for me when I lose. I've got to make this transition now in order to capitalize on it most.
I feel like he is channeling something that he has experienced before. Like, this is so well done.
Yeah.
I'm sold, honestly. Like, each week it gets fucking better.
It does.
I think they're gonna put a belt on him. Not. I don't think by the end of this year. I think next year. I think by next year they're gonna potentially put a belt on him.
That's entirely possible. I don't know what belt I would put on him other than the international, the IC title. That's the one that makes the most sense, like story-wise and character-wise. Like that's the one that he's been chasing, the one that's eluded him. That makes the most sense to me.
Well, and it's if Sammy still has the belt by that point, it would be a great kind of finisher to their feud. In my mind.
Yeah, it makes the most sense in my mind to get there at some point in the future. Especially now with like the whole thing with Alpha Academy and like them basically leaving him to die at the end of Raw.
Finally. Fucking finally. Okay, they as well. Oh my god, them selling the like abusive relationship back and forth.
Yeah.
It's so, like, again, I think they were also channeling something that they've all experienced before and able to put it out there because it feels fucking real.
Well, that's what makes it work so well on top of everything else is up until like the turn with Gable, they have just been, you know, kind of goofy fucking goobers. And this, you know, tonal change with the characters has really made it just hit that much harder. It feels more real because you're not anticipating it from these, let's face it, comic relief characters.
Right. And I mean, because tragedy and comedy, you know, two sides of the same coin. So you got the sad clown who's happy inside and the happy clown who's sad inside.
Yeah.
And I feel like these guys, it's about time they're being taken more seriously. And I like this more serious tone that they're taking with this kind of a storyline because it hits a very wide audience.
Yeah.
People grew up dealing with shit like this. All of us have dealt with shit like this, you know, at some point in our lives with some shitty person. But it also hits really good with teenagers. Teenagers can relate to that in the moment of having to deal with a lot of these things because high school, I mean, I haven't been in a high school in a while, but I have to assume it's still very cliquey.
Yeah, I could.
Most likely.
I mean, that's just, you know, basic human nature is to form kind of like tight inner circles. And, you know, that's like almost part of like the human condition itself. Like that is the environment where that really starts to form because, you know, like elementary school and like middle school, like that's when people are learning how to navigate relationships as, you know, like, oh, hey, you like this, I like this, we're friends. And then you get to like middle school and like, you know, changes start happening with people as they become more self-aware and self-actualize a little bit. And they don't know how to fully comprehend that yet. Like there's new things happening with your brain and with your body, and you don't have the skills to understand, much less navigate life in that aspect. And then you hit high school where the hormones start popping off like fucking crazy, and we get dumber for, you know, 4 years. And
some of us stay dumb.
Yeah.
Some of us.
Yeah, I didn't say we got better. And that point of time, like that's when those really tight, you know, clicks like you described form because it's a survival instinct. Like, you need people close to you to help you survive and scavenge and learn to, keep breathing the next day.
And sometimes that parasocial bond that's been made, or intersocial bond, whatever the correct term is, is with someone who's extremely toxic and doesn't always know it.
Yeah.
Or they do and they love being that way, in which case they're a piece of shit and you should, run away.
Yeah, shout out to Mean Girls.
Yeah,
best example.
Seriously. You're never going to make fetch a thing.
No.
I'm way too good at that.
Yeah, that's because you're a bitch in real life.
I'm a basic bitch. No, but it's just like, sometimes, like, especially in high school and stuff, where you're still learning what empathy actually is.
Yeah.
To not only receive empathy, but to externally put it out there too to the world. You're in those learning stages of it. So some of these relationships that people have that might be best friends are extremely toxic relationships, and they don't realize it yet. So I think that this kind of storyline really sells that a lot. I think, honestly, for like the teenage audience, young adult audience, that's going to hit real hard.
Yeah.
And probably it might already be. Hopefully it is.
I'm going to have to check the numbers to see what... Because, like, every time you look at the Nielsen ratings, they show the demo. The demo is that coveted 18 to 49 age range. So I wonder what it is for the, like, let's say the 13 to 18-year-old range. Yeah. That's what I want to see as far as numbers-wise, because if they're hitting with, the younger kids, I wonder if... it's got to be, like, the social media. It's got to be the YouTube. It's got to be the Instagram. It's got to... I don't know about, if any of them use Twitter, but, the TikTok at least. The TikTok will definitely skew younger.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah, I'd love to see what their numbers look like there.
These would be perfect. A lot of these are clippable moments. Very easily clippable moments. So, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I would love to know those numbers, too, because, like, that type of storyline with Gable and all them, it's a great storyline.
Yeah. Honestly, I hope it fucking hits, dude. That's what everybody deserves as far as, like, the people working on that storyline. I mean, Gable, tell me that dude doesn't deserve his flowers.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Otis, give that man something to do, and he will make the most out of it regardless of what it is.
Otis is one of the best sellers out there. Like, you want to move to look brutal? Have him take it. That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
You want to fix that? It looks like one side's longer than the other.
Yeah, I'm good. That was
Unless
a good
you have a lopsided head, then it's cool, dude.
Yeah, you don't need to call out.
You can see it. You can see it.
Don't need
too flat. Too flat.
Oh God. But you were saying.
But yeah, no, like Otis is a great seller. He will sell a move real hard. So, give him something to do. I feel like the storyline will be a nice build up for all of their characters, to where they won't have to not only be seen as comic relief more times than not, but actually lead them to greater heights. Because, like, I would love to see a belt on Otis one day.
Yeah.
Not right now, maybe, but in the future, give him a storyline that fits, and hell yeah.
I think just overcoming Gable's, bullying at this point would be enough. Like, him standing up, that got a huge pop. Like, people were all over that moment. So I think that might be enough. You might not need a belt for that.
What? How about this? Gable lost to Sammy.
Yeah.
Otis finally stands up for himself.
Yeah.
Otis beats Sammy.
Oh.
And then turns around and says, I did what you could never do.
I could see that.
And I did it with the power of fucking friendship, bitch.
It's the most powerful weapon that exists today.
It is. It is.
Right up there with the 200 kilogram bomb from Helldivers 2.
That, yep. The Fab 3500 that was recently fired that Russia fired off.
Yeah.
One of the biggest non-nuclear bombs used in a war.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, it's huge. And also, I believe it missed its target too. So
I am not surprised.
All right, giant bombs that can't hit what they need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could totally see that being a storyline though, where Otis ends up being the one to take the belt and being like, and not even like gloating in a dick kind of way, just being like, I did what you could never do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't believe in me, and I did believe in me.
You know, speaking of belief, can we touch on Star Wars real quick?
Sure.
What the fuck is going on with Star Wars? Like,
a lot.
I know the Acolyte is airing currently right now, and people are hating that on that really hard. But apparently, like, the people that are working on the next Star Wars movie, which is, 10? Which is supposed to be focused on Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order. Apparently, they're already starting to do that same sort of like pre-release defense position when they haven't even started filming yet.
Well, they are using the same character. They're using Rey.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Me too. I'm not gonna shit on it. But
yeah.
There was a huge backlash to her.
Which I don't understand.
Every movie, there was backlash to her.
Okay, so like the hate that Star Wars gets from Star Wars fans is both justified and not justified at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, yes, they are doing terrible things. No, that doesn't excuse your fucking bigotry.
Exactly. I was just going to say, because whether it be they're coming through with their bigoted view from a racist standpoint or a misogynistic standpoint or everything kind of standpoint, it doesn't matter. That part's still wrong.
Yeah.
But there are legitimate complaints to how Disney is handling Star Wars. A lot.
Yeah.
The actress who plays Rey does a great job of playing the character that they've made for her.
Yeah, Daisy Ridley.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say Rey's a great character or anything, but that's not her fault. That's more of the writing's fault. You can see it plain as day that it's the writing.
I think the core conceit of the character that they started off with was an excellent foundation for a character in the Star Wars universe. A orphan scavenger who dreamed of seeing more. I think that's a great place to start off. I think that's fantastic.
I think a big issue that you have with not just her character, because this is endemic to the entire series of the newer movies, is the constant moving around of directors and visions.
Yeah,
made it so that these characters never really truly had a good storyline.
I mean,
I mean, the only one that maybe kind of did still was Kylo.
I mean, yeah, he was okay, but like, there was enough like already existing that could have been turned into something that worked. I'm not saying that I have the plan to fix all of Star Wars. I am not that much of an ego fucking maniac, but
I am.
Even I would have planned out the whole trilogy when you have people that work for you, that their entire job is to maintain the lore. You have people whose entire job is to be record keepers, be historical, experts on what already exists. And I honestly do not give a shit that Ki-Mundi or whatever his fucking name is was born earlier now because of the Acolyte. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me either.
I do have, okay, you could have at least been fucking consistent with your own storytelling that was pre-established with the prequels, where he flat out said that, the Sith have been gone for fucking centuries when he existed now in a period of time where he witnessed the Sith again.
Yes.
You could have just moved a different character in there, and just had anybody talk about that.
But at the end of the day, Disney likes to reuse characters that people know, and there's always that niche part of the audience that no matter what happens wants to see that character.
Yeah.
Because there is entire lore pages written about someone who was in a single fucking frame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there are people who literally was only in a frame, a single frame. So you see them for 24th of a second. And there's, like, pages upon pages. So, like, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
That's true. There's really not much else that I can think of that, like, maybe it's just, like, nerds in general. But we love to hate the things that we love.
Mm-hmm. Now, I am still enjoying Acolyte.
Okay.
I've only watched the first 3 episodes, but I have enjoyed it so far. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like an A+ material or anything, because it's not.
Okay.
I would put it slightly above Schlock.
Okay. I haven't watched it at all yet.
Okay. So, I've only watched the first 3 episodes. But
Okay.
of the first 3 episodes, it's more than enough to keep me watching. By the first episode, it was more than enough to keep me watching.
Okay.
But again, the writing isn't perfect or anything. I'm not going to give away spoilers or anything for anybody who haven't seen any of this, because there's no point in giving spoilers. It's too fresh of a show. It's still going on. But it's at least worth checking out. Like, the backlash to this show, especially before it popped out and for everyone to see,
Yeah.
in my opinion, was unwarranted, and a lot of it was based in bigotry.
I mean, that's fair. That seems to be kind of like the current, like, hot button dog pile right now is people to hate on something simply because there is diversity in it. And I want to just take a moment here and be like, are you fucking kidding me? Star Wars is one of the most historically diverse universes in all of media. From the Jedi, from the background characters, the side characters. Yeah, I mean, he was a white dude all along, but Darth Vader was voiced by James Earl Jones. And you don't get much cooler than that. For people to be upset that Star Wars has become more diverse is absurd to me. There's fucking aliens everywhere. There's robots. There's people of so many different backgrounds. There's, like, the bad guys are legitimately cosplaying as real world fascists and, you know, bigots and racists.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And it's always been this way.
Yeah.
The entire rebellion is based off of the Viet Cong defeating the United States. Like, it took a ragtag group to defeat an empire. So you're gonna, and granted, yes, it was Viet Cong, so there wasn't like the most amount of diversity, but when you're looking at it from like aliens and all of that, but these people came from all diverse backgrounds. They came from different professions, many of them farmers and the like. And they all were able to band together and take down a goddamn technologically superior empire.
Yeah. I mean, the Ewoks, I believe, are exactly who George Lucas described as being the Viet Cong. Like, them specifically is just like, no, that's them. That's who they are.
I feel like Star Wars has always been this way. The problem that we're all having at the end of the day is this is a more corporatized and corporate bleached version of Star Wars, where yes, we're still getting diversity, but we're getting bland fucking stories half the time now.
Yeah, I think the problem is they're not telling interesting enough stories. That's really what it comes down to. Because, like, was it like the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian? I don't think you can get higher enough praise.
Thank you for saying this, because I wanted to.
Yeah, Andor, one of my favorite bits of Star Wars media in general. For me, in general. Yeah. This is one of the best anti-fascist pieces of media that has been put out in a long time. For the wider audience. For the wider audience, yeah. Obi-Wan, yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Its moments for sure. Yeah,
it was nice.
Storyline.
It brought Hayden Christensen back, and he got what he deserved. You know, like, he got a chance to do something more.
okay, I loved him in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
Million times they handled his character a million times better in the Ahsoka show.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, let's be honest. Obi-Wan's show, that's Darth Vader. That's not so much Anakin.
Well, true,
Yeah,
but
that's
the
two different
overall
characters.
Two different characters.
So okay, so yes, okay.
I'm just saying Obi-Wan brought him back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like they were able to utilize Hayden a lot better in Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you got 100%. Rogue One, another fantastic bit of Star Wars business.
Did not give it the credit it deserved when it came out. Watching it now back over the years, I've only become like I love it more and more. It's honestly one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Yeah. So the point that we're getting to here is that I don't blame Disney for not being able to put compelling stories together. They have the ability to do so. It's just that they have, I don't know what better way to put it, but they have this problem where they get ambitious and then they turn on the floodgates and like they get the proof of concept, they start seeing success, and then they try to go back to it too hard, too fast, and they just shoot themselves in the foot and step on their own dicks.
Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel, another prime example.
Yep. This is a constant occurrence. Literally. This, we've talked to here many times, maybe off, not recording, but how history repeats itself a lot. And you get to see it on both a big and small scale with them, because you're seeing rehash storylines, rehash characters that shouldn't be used, where you'd be better off using a brand new character.
Yeah.
Stories that are where if they had time to cook might be really good, but it's like, especially like Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
Like half of that storyline was so fucking rushed. You needed like at least 8 more episodes to really sell me on some of these things.
Same thing with the Book of Boba Fett. Like, I think that just needed more time in the pre-production. I think they needed more time to gestate on the ideas and let it grow into something that would have more impact. That being said, I do love the characters that they, incorporated in there. Like, I like the idea of like Boba Fett becoming a crime lord. I liked the idea of what's her name becoming his like right hand assassin. Like, I liked that. I liked what they were doing there. I just think they needed to explore what that actually means in the grander universe of just, or not even grander universe, just like consolidate it to like, just his immediate area. And
you can tell they did not believe in that product as much as they did Mandalorian by making it pretty much, was it season 1.5 or 2.5?
2.5.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Was it between 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you can tell they didn't have that much faith because they had to bring in Mando.
Yeah.
You had to bring in Pedro Pascal. And in my opinion, if they had sat with this property a little bit longer, let it cook a little bit more, at least storyline-wise, you wouldn't have needed Mando whatsoever.
Yeah.
You could have simply sold me on him being a crime lord and how he took over, and maybe have the final episode be that final actual sitting on the throne type shit.
Yeah, that would have been something there. I would have liked to see that. And I'm going to say this, no disrespect to people that love to harp on it. I don't hate the fan service.
No, I think if it's done right.
Yeah, if it's done right, I think it's, a fantastic bit that you can work in. Like, Star Wars has proven that we don't need, like, Skywalker-centric focused media for, quite a while now.
The stuff that isn't Skywalker-centric is the stuff that does good.
Yeah.
Like, typically. Not always, but typically nowadays.
Yeah.
So
I don't want the fan service to be incorporated as just a way to be like a wink and a nod in the audience. I want it to feel lived in the universe. I think characters should acknowledge that these major events have taken place. I think Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia should all be extraordinarily well-known people in the grander galactic universe. The events of the Empire and the destruction of the Death Star should be, it should be like, what's the inverse of 9/11? Like, that's what it should be. It should be a holiday in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. It is actually in some ways, because it's marked. It marks the change.
Yeah.
BBY, how they keep track of time.
Yeah.
Before the Battle of Yavin and after the Battle of Yavin.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see a statue of Lando Calrissian on a planet somewhere that celebrates him. You know,
like, or Leia for sure.
Yeah, like those.
That would even be the most expected, actually, in many ways, because she's already a politician. So
yeah, like that should add to the world building, is what I'm getting to. Like, let's not make this something that's like a cute nod to the audience. Let's make it part of the universe. I
think Andor does it best in world building overall. I think that should set the standard for all future Disney properties that have to do with Star Wars, doing that, because that planet was super believable. The culture on that planet, super believable. One of my favorite little kind of like expressions in that show, because I don't remember the name of the planet, but the guys that would work in the mines and stuff, they would put their gloves and hang them up because they all knew each other and trusted each other. And when they came back out, they knew their stuff would be there. Like, this entire culture and stuff set up was so... Ferrex, thank you. But that small world building, Star Wars lacks that more than half the time. And granted, with the Skywalker-centric property or storylines, you're covering a lot of shit, so you can't always go that small scale. I get that. But allow these other properties to do that. Allow them to build that world more outside of Skywalker's storyline.
Yeah. You know, something that actually does irritate me. The current iteration of the lightsabers, they've just gotten so bulky. Because they're using the
thin blades.
Using the on-site like LED like stunt blades has made them so like chunky. It doesn't feel as elegant of a weapon.
You can also
go with the blaster.
Yeah.
The Star Wars Rebels, the show.
Yeah.
You can see where they changed the art style for the lightsabers mid-process of them making that show, because in the beginning they're thinner, and over time they get wider. Yeah.
It's nothing. It's not like world breaking by any means. It's just it'd be nice to go back to, you know, something that felt a little bit more becoming of a Jedi.
You don't want as girthy of a blade to have to wield around all the time, you know, because sometimes it just gets in the way.
Yeah. Sometimes you want something simple, light, a little bit more finesse.
Yeah.
Dainty.
What are we talking about?
What?
But yeah, no, I know there are people out there that say that, okay, George had everything preordained when he was still in charge of Star Wars. And that's complete fucking bullshit. Like,
we all can tell that's bullshit. We all watching these fucking movies.
Yeah. Like, not only that, like, let's not forget that he commissioned a novel post A New Hope in case he didn't get to make another movie that was to serve as a sequel and a tie-up to the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you can see where his mind went to money only when he realized how much of a cash cow this was when selling toys.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he was probably the most... what's the word I'm looking for here? He was able to see the future when it came to toys and when he was negotiating Star Wars in the very early days. That man, he knew, like, I don't know how he knew, but he fucking knew he was going to make bank doing that.
Oh, man, I have so many of them, too. Like, I have the Tauntaun. I have not the full-size Millennium Falcon you could buy. That was, like, back when we were kids, still like $200, so probably like $800 now. I never had that, but I had that miniature scale one that you could get, where it was almost like the... Oh, what were those, like, Polly Pockets and all that, where you would open it up and you could put the little mini characters inside?
Yeah, that's what it was. There was that, and there was two.
There was the toy one.
Yeah, there was the needlessly gendered toys. There was like Polly Pocket, and then like the boys one, which was like something Max.
Something Max.
Mighty Max.
Mighty
they did
Max.
it after the Mighty Max.
Yeah, the cartoon. Yeah.
With the bird and the dude.
The big dude that was like almost like what's his
Your
face
Barbarian.
from that MTV show where he wore purple and yellow.
Oh, you're thinking of the Max.
The Max, yeah.
Yeah.
Those two characters look very similar to each other, at least in my memory.
Yeah, that's
Like,
one of these days we should do like one of those things where you like try to draw stuff from memory.
well, I can draw circles now, so yeah, actually.
Yeah, you
since I learned how to draw circles. Walsh, do you know how to draw a circle?
No.
So you don't use your wrist, brother. Never like use your wrist to draw a circle. Use your elbow and keep your wrist locked. It makes better circles.
No, I just use a compass or some string.
All right, you know what, Mr. Fancy? Some of us can't afford a compass and string. Okay, some of us have to do this
I
old
said
school and
or
use the thumb.
string.
Yeah,
I know, and I said I can't afford either.
Nope. Go. Take your shoelace off. String.
Yeah, done.
I have slip-ons because I can't afford shoelaces.
Dude, you gotta MacGyver this shit.
Slip-on
somehow.
shoes are way more expensive. They have elastic.
They are. Why are they more expensive?
The elastic.
It's so much less product you're getting.
Dude, okay. So for the folks at home that don't know this, I am just the tiniest bit of a sneakerhead, and something monumental happened the other day where Nike went fucking hard against the Chinese knockoffs that have been flooding the markets for the past decade now? Yeah. So there's online retailers in China that essentially they take the excess materials and they take the stuff from the Nike warehouses where they get done with their day shifts, and they spend their nighttime making more shoes using the exact same materials that are left over from the Nike warehouse, and using the same people that make the Nike shoes, and just selling them themselves for basically what is the intended retail price of Nikes that, the resellers then, inflate, obviously. Nike has destroyed, they have napalmed, firebombed all of them that they could find. It's amazing. And they are asking for millions in repayment because of the lost business. Dude, we are talking in the tens of millions number here for these people in China.
You know what? These people are just trying to make a living.
Maybe if
you paid your workers better, maybe they wouldn't have done this. So instead of paying these slave wages because they're in another country, why don't you pay them more than a living wage?
Yeah,
and stop making.
How about at least a living wage? At least a living wage.
Oh, at that point, dude, we're beyond that point. Now it's above.
Yeah.
At this point, they owe us so much before they get eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, with what they charge for Nikes, they can get a damn.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to touch on
if
that.
they were able to put a dent, if they were able to put a dent in Nike like that, fuck yeah, good on you, brothers.
Yeah, we are. This is one of the most in-depth lawsuits I've ever seen, particularly because Nike went to the steps of ordering these shoes from China and investigating their work processes, the level of counterfeit that they were able to operate on, and the level of documentation in this lawsuit is unheard of. Nike wasn't they let them go for this long just so they could sue them into oblivion. It's insane.
So they basically have Disney style lawyers, the most evil of lawyers possible, to be able to do something like this and get it so meticulously put together.
Yeah. No, it's
yeah.
There are so many different not just sites listed, but online communities where people discussed how to access these. There are specific the actual WhatsApp numbers for people that were selling them. There is receipts. There is subreddits. There's all sorts of shit that's just meticulously laid out in this.
Oh, and if they're using Stinger technology, they're able to actually access these people's information straight from their phones just by driving by their houses and shit. So they can get it right from the source and say, look, this came from your phone.
Yeah. It's hilarious and also disturbing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was talking with my boss like less than a week ago. Mm-hmm. I was telling him about the Fallout show.
Yeah.
Because he had said he saw a preview and was like, what is this actually about? And the only thing I told him was like, the end game for capitalism is capitalizing on the end of the world.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're already there now. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we are.
Yeah, this is post end of the world.
Yep, like this is post-apocalypse. We're already in it, brother.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, and if you believe everything that is being said, then the internet's been dead for at least a decade. This is the echo.
Derek, the internet is not dead yet because we still exist. We are not bots. We have not been replaced by bots yet, or AI.
But I have a capture right here.
Did you do the little click? You got them.
I can't see it because it's somewhat below the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's clipping.
Yeah.
So.
You got to click on all the bicycles in the photos.
Yeah.
But they're all tricycles.
Do you boys remember from Content Warning when Walsh got stuck in that like contraption? You had to do the CAPTCHA and you had to do all these weird symbols and shit. It was like clipping through the ground so you couldn't see the fucking thing.
Yeah, I remember that vividly.
Yeah.
I remember dying in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. That's what I have right here.
That's what you got right there. We're going to have to get you out of there.
Thank you.
But that's going to have to wait till next week because we're going to wrap up here. Thank everybody for joining us on their night off. Remember to do all the engagement things. Hit the buttons, hit the subscribes, comments, share. Derek, you got something?
Yeah, sorry. I know I always cut you off, but today's my birthday, so I'm allowed to get away with it today.
Yeah, you are.
No, you're not.
Fuck you. I can also get away with that too. But
you can.
We just hit 8K, boys. I just want to say thank you to everybody who ends up like listening to this and everything. Thank you for helping us reach 8K. It means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of been doing this for not super long, but long enough now to where we can't say we don't know all the ropes anymore. We know many of the ropes.
There's
it's just
ropes?
Nice.
I know like one rope, Derek. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I only know the middle rope, the most dangerous rope, Brett's rope. That's the only rope I know.
See, I'm a safety boy. I go off the third rope. I like to be safe as possible.
Not even in the ring. I'm on the floor.
Yeah.
It's too high up.
He's sleeping like Wendy Chu eating cereal.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, thank you, everybody, for helping us reach 8K. That's been awesome. I really appreciate it. And it was a really nice birthday gift to wake up to today. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Hell yeah. Derek's an old man now. He's a sprightly young 52 years old today.
Yep. I can't say this with actually any seriousness because I texted this to the boys like 2 years ago, but today is the first day that my balls touched the water as I sat on the toilet. And really, that was like 2 years ago, so yeah.
Father Time remains undefeated.
Look forward to that, young men.
Yeah.
One day you will sit down and your balls will touch the water too. It will be a light little poop, and you're gonna go. Hoo, hoo.
Yeah, it'll shock your whole day.
Mm-hmm. You don't need coffee. That's actually it's a way to not have to drink coffee.
It is, but primarily usually you're gonna end up drinking the coffee because that is why you're on the toilet to begin with.
He knows me too well.
Yeah, I do.
He knows me too well.
But we'll see everybody next week. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Good night,
Have a good night, everybody.